are so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful audience. Give yourself some round of applause. You're so lovely. Everyone's so lovely. And while you're in the clapping mood, I'd like to give a big round of applause to my band.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Welcome everybody back to another wonderful episode of 30 Something Podcast. I am Drea. Y'all should know who we are by now.
But in case it's your first time listening.
Right. Make it the best time.
Right.
And then we have Miss Miko.
What's up?
And Miss Shay.
Hey.
She is in here looking touched by an angel.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Thank you, Drea.
And per usual, we always want to thank Mr. J. Rose and these Beats Ain't Free for the beat. And today we are going to be Skyping in with a dear friend of mine, Mr. William Moore. Mr. Moore is a part of he is the CFO. So he does like all the marketing, branding, and everything for the Down Home Brewing Company, which is the first Black-owned brewing company in the state of Georgia. And we love to celebrate Black excellence. We do.
Black
Here at 30 Something Podcast, we're gonna always bring you the best of the best, so no one is confused as to where the greatness comes from. So, but right now we're gonna get into what now.
Hey, Jonathan Haston.
Yes,
Got our people on the line.
I was trying to get my laptop going.
Zelty.
My
We don't shout them out
you
no
call
more.
that?
We don't
The
shout out
Wi-Fi.
our friends and stuff
Hey,
no more.
Chad.
the Wi-Fi wasn't coming up, so I couldn't connect.
Make sure y'all like and share the video tonight. We haven't asked you all to do that in a while. Make sure y'all like and share it because
Yes.
we're gonna give information on how you can get some of this beer,
Yes.
this craft beer,
Well,
right?
we can't.
Well, you all
we'll
can
get
take
into
a trip
it.
and get to
right,
Atlanta.
but if you go to Atlanta, we'll definitely tell you how you can get some of this Down Home Brewing beer. So we'll be talking to him in a little bit.
Yeah, and Spirit got to sell like $24 each way to Atlanta.
$24.
You can go and have a beer for $24.
You can
Yes.
just to celebrate blackness.
Yes,
Exactly.
to celebrate black.
Yes,
Y'all know
we went
I
all the way
always
to New
deal
York. She went to Africa. We just celebrating all kinds of
We
blackness.
sure have.
Yes.
Shout out to
We went on the
$24.
Yes,
Celebrate blackness.
yes, Shondo. So, but we're gonna get into what now, and if you didn't know, I try not to voter shame, but it's hard. But if you want to vote, and if you are civically engaged, please be aware that today is National Voter Registration Day. So,
So that's why I was on Snapchat.
That's what I was about to
why
say.
did
Snapchat
send me a
sent that out
message?
today.
did it?
Yeah,
I have a Snapchat, but I'm
Telling
not sure
people
how
to
it
register
works.
to vote.
Yeah, it was a quick little video. It was like, do you know how long, what takes longer to do than register to vote?
Oh,
and then
that's
they
what they
listed
said.
a whole lot of things
Yeah.
that don't take long at all. And they was
Right.
like,
It's super
go ahead and
quick.
get it done.
Yeah.
So, your voter
At this
registration.
age, I hope all of the 30-somethings are registered to vote.
Well, and if you're not,
I
then
did
at least
Oh,
today.
you said no,
have
no
like
voter shaming, right?
I try not to voter shame. But
you do?
yeah, of course I do. I mean, I'm not a perfect person. I will definitely voter shame someone. Well, just because I feel like most people's excuse for not voting is like, I just don't get involved in politics, and it's like,
Right.
oh, okay, but politics is involved in you.
Right.
So
Right.
I
And your
mean, there's a
kids,
bill
and your
passed,
family.
right? There's a
Yeah.
bill passed about your child's education. There's bills passed about stuff that
Yes.
goes on in your neighborhood. The people that we elect or choose not to, vote and elect, and someone else gets the spot, or the incumbent gets to remain in the spot and continue on not doing anything, or not, doing anything to help your community or to better your quality of life. All of these things happen at the poll, and elections have consequences. My boss loves to say elections have
That
consequences,
is
and they do.
good. They do.
They really do.
And we're seeing the repercussions
Listen,
of that
who?
right now. So
Jesus,
are.
what is wrong with him? They laughed at him at the UN.
They did.
And we're talking about Cheeto Face, if y'all aren't aware. But they definitely laughed at him at the UN because he was like, no presidential no president has ever done what we've done before. And like they legit started laughing at him. And he was like, well, I didn't think y'all were gonna respond like that. Yeah. He's definitely like just a
He
laughable
doesn't even
person.
know when he's
Yeah.
being a clown.
He does.
Right.
He doesn't care.
He's a buffoon. So please have your voter registration postmarked by October the 8th and send in, right? Because you have to be able to vote in the November 6th election. To check to see if you're eligible to vote, then you can go to the Secretary of State website and there's a little link that says, am I registered? Or you can call your county elections office, Dallas County Elections, Tarrant County, Collin County, wherever you live, you can call your county elections office. And those people, they are very friendly and they'll be more than happy to help you exercise your right to vote.
So for those people who may not be registered or have never done it before, is it as simple as like filling out a form? Can they do it online? What
I filled out
are
a
their
form.
options?
Yeah, you fill out a form.
Do they
with-
have to bring additional documents?
You can
know?
print the form out online, but I think that the form actually physically has to be mailed in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah, it
actual
is.
form. But please make sure that we're there because we have some, especially in Dallas, we have some city council seats, that are up for election. It's just midterms. It's like it's time to get out there and vote. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Yes, please listen. Ted Cruz. I'm not gonna talk about it, but if y'all
What? Give us a
if y'all saw the debate between Ted Cruz, he definitely just skated the entire time. He tried his best to not answer any questions, And Beto, when it comes down to the next topic, which I'm going to talk about, was Amber Geiger, the police officer being fired. Beto was like legit, straight up like, homegirl needs to be fired. And he's not afraid to say things that need to be said. And of course, like, most politicians, they do start out that way where it's like, they sound good or whatever. But I really feel like he has a good platform and he is, for the most part, about policies that affect actual real people, so.
Being genuine.
Exactly, for sure. But moving on from there, Amber Geiger has been fired for engaging in adverse conduct. So, adverse conduct is being defined as she shamed her badge, right? Like she committed some felonious act that has,
They made the department look bad.
right. That made, ultimately, like she shamed her badge, and so that's why she got fired. She didn't get fired because she
She murdered.
mistakenly murdered someone per se.
So it made them look like a fool.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much why she was fired from Dallas Police Department. Chief Renee Hall, she had made the comment that she was unable to fire her due to some federal regulations and some other. But then she recanted that statement, or she said that the media made the statement for her, and she actually did not say that. What she said what she did say was that as far as like her testimony that she gave about the events that took place, that they if the prosecution would have gotten a hold of it, it would have been used to incriminate her.
Right. I did.
But I don't even understand that because she already gave her affidavit, and then internal affairs, you can't use that information as given to internal affairs during prosecution. So I don't know. Whatever. I don't know anything. I'm just a person. So on to crazy stories. Shantae says that you do have to mail in your. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. You have to mail in your voter registration card. Hey, best friend. But so $18 million worth of cocaine was found in a donation of bananas to a Texas prison. I think it was the
a donation.
Yeah, the Wayne Scott unit at Ports America in Freeport, about 50 miles south of Houston. They retrieved 2 pallets of bananas that were being given away because they had already ripened, right? Because, we give prisoners day-old food.
Right.
I ain't gonna get into it. But the custom agents who searched all 45 boxes of bananas found 540 packages of cocaine with an estimated street value of $17.8 million. The Drug Enforcement Agency and U.S. Customs have split up the investigative duties. First of all, I just want to say that the authorities have a way of inflating drug prices, which I thought was crazy. Like it's probably maybe $10 million. It's not $18 million with cocaine. But nevertheless, somebody is probably floating in the river behind this. This some cartel type stuff. Like it was really hard for me to believe.
Texas.
Yeah. Like outside of Houston.
Okay.
So I don't. It's so hard to believe that somebody was that stupid to lose that much dope.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
they had to have already
Had done it
been
before.
doing it
Yeah.
to even put that amount.
So, but how you move that much? Okay, how you move that much weight in a prison? Is what I'm trying to figure out.
I hear that they move weight in pure
That
prison.
much though, because usually people are muling this inside of their bodies to get it into the prison, right? So
Or ways like that, like putting it in some
food.
bananas or whatever.
that's a lot of cocaine. Where you
I
gonna
heard
keep it?
that
They
move
find
a
ways.
lot. Mhm.
Do-
They
oh, well.
get creative. Look, I'm
They
not
find
trying
ways
to
and
tell
then they
nobody
probably wanna
business.
No, I mean everything
She
is
said,
a
"I ain't
hustle,
trying
but
to tell
that
nobody
For me.
business. She said, "I'm not no snitch."
I'm not snitches.
I don't want you to incriminate nobody, but I'm just very curious as to
I
how.
heard
What do you do when you get in that much cocaine in the prison? Like, where do you put it?
they sell it.
I know you said, but you can't move it immediately. Is what I'm saying.
Well,
Like you,
because I hear some of the prison guards,
this is some orange is the new black shit.
wardens,
Exactly
yes, like that's how.
But they even move it in small increments. It's not this much. Like it's not pallets of dope coming into the prison. Like,
not
that's
if you have
crazy
some
to me.
drug lords up in there and they know how to.
drug lords in the prison.
Yeah, like
Lo-
people are smart. There's some drug lords up in there.
I mean,
it
it,
is.
it might. I'm just
Kingpins.
taken aback by the whole thing.
Yeah, it is. That's a lot, though. I'm like,
Yeah,
That's what makes me question 18 million.
yeah. I don't know. That's a lot. I know they inflate drug prices. I mean, to make the bus look bigger. DEA does.
Street price.
Yeah, DEA has it bad doing that. But so that's all I had for what. Oh no, that's wrong. That's wrong. So this is just a couple hours ago. I didn't write it down. I was just looking at the news. So y'all, it is some black people, a couple, that tried to kidnap a 3-year-old girl out of the shopping cart while her parents were paying at the cash register. They don't have like a whole.
In Fort Worth, right?
Yeah, this happened in Fort Worth, and
So
so
watch your kids.
they said that the woman, the mom thought that she was initially trying to play with the child, and then she grabbed her and tried to run out of the store with her.
And what did the
pretty
mama do?
kid or what?
I don't know, but it said
I don't
the
know,
suspects
girl,
left
but I
together.
would've
The suspects
the
left
baby.
together in a red SUV, possibly a Saturn View.
Oh, they got the baby?
With the disability placard. And it said the woman was talking with the child before she picked her up from the shopping cart and said the child was not hurt. So this was
So
a
they were
Walmart.
handicapped?
They had a handicap. Girl. First of all, you already know how we do with the handicap placard. Like we will get Granny's handicap placard, and
They
that's
park close
true.
to the front.
right.
Why you talking about? Oh, they were handy. So
So the video has not been released, and the police shared a description of the man and woman. And y'all know how we do when we read a story. Were they black? Were they black? Were they black? Were they black?
They were
yes,
not.
they were. Yeah,
Oh, they were.
They're both around 30 years old. Police said the woman is black, around 5'1", with a thin build and a neck tattoo.
That reminds me of that Halle Berry movie. I can't think of the name.
She
of
was
it.
with a black man who was around 5'10" with a stocky build.
they were clearly sick.
I'm
Yeah, but
just
I'm sure
trying to
that lady
fig-
would have chased them and
Yes.
her child
So
down.
everybody, please pay attention to your children when
And
you're
people.
out.
letting people play
And the
with your
holidays are
kids and-
approaching, and it's gonna get crowded, and people do crazy stuff. Just make sure you keep an eye on your babies.
You
And
can plan to go and do your shopping without your children.
right, but I'm saying, just even if you're just, out on a Saturday doing something, just protect your
It's so
babies.
scary out
And
here.
you think like, oh, I'm watching my kid, nothing will never happen to my kid, but you just turn for 1 second, and you don't
Yeah.
know who watching you and
So
who,
true. That's why I always Vincent. He loves to try to hide. Like he always wants to hide. Like when he comes out the door and run and hide somewhere, and I always tell him, "Do not do that." Like I be screaming, "Don't do that," because if someone takes you, for
like
real,
your heart sinks. It's
Yes.
like, Lord,
and he's
no.
like, "Rah." And I'm like, "Don't do that, Vincent, because if something happens to you for real, I will think you're playing around.
Right.
So I don't even want you to play like that."
Boy, that
Exactly.
cried wolf. I have to read that book to him.
Yes. So, Do we want to go to the commercial?
We can go to the commercial.
Yeah. Oh, so we're going to go to commercial. And after we go to the commercial, then we're going to show the video that we have for Down Home Brewing Company with William. And then we'll do our interview with him. And then
go into 30
then we'll
broke
go into
after
30
that.
and broke.
Yep.
All righty.
We'll be right back.
It's hot in here. I'm hot. No, I'm hot.
No, but it was a hot guy in there.
Not that kind of hot. We need Metro Men. For all of your air conditioning and heating services, please contact Metro Air Conditioning and Heating Services at 214-948-8888 or visit him on the web at metroacs.com. You can also find him on Facebook at Metro Air Conditioning and Heating Services. He's been in business since 1990, a member of the Better Business Bureau with a AAA rating. And he may not be hot, but he'll make sure that you're not. Now, where's that other guy?
Down Home Brewing is a startup, a craft brewery with an eye on eventually taking advantage of a new Georgia law that expands the sales opportunities of beer makers. The two men behind it, Chris Reeves and William Allen Moore, haven't quit their day jobs yet.
During this whole time, I'm questioning myself, are you sure you want to do this? Yes.
I hope I'm not sweating all over the place.
Every couple of weeks, they can their product, 100 cases at a time. While doing so, they blaze a trail of sorts. Down Home is the first production brewery in Georgia with African-American owners.
So it was fun to see people's reactions to it of saying like, oh, okay, this is cool. And then you see the backstory behind it and we tell our story with our families and how it comes from a place of family. People really get excited to it and they can really relate to it.
There are 66 breweries in Georgia, up 20% since the new law was enacted last year. Brewers say there's been $35 million in brewery investment since then and 250 new workers in the industry.
Modest, but more than it was.
Nancy Palmer of the Georgia Craft Beer Guild says the expansion of the industry naturally leads to more diversity.
I think that Georgia's been long overdue to have African Americans as leaders in this particular industry. Clearly, we could use more women in this industry as well. And having a story that people can connect with is crucial in making a craft beer successful.
In this case, Home's icon is Herschel Thompson, a Walton County sharecropper and Reeves's late grandfather.
A good God-fearing man. We love God. And I learned a lot through him. So he's out enjoying the world still.
The startup is modest, producing beer with the help of another brewer called Blue Tarp. The goal is a standalone shop of their own, a niche in a growing market, and to put their day jobs behind them. In Decatur, Doug Richards, 11 Alive News.
Today, you understand?
Oh my goodness. So right now, Will is about to Skype in. Sing it. Sing for us, Whitney Hutton.
I didn't think I would hear that if JoJo wasn't here. You gonna pick it up?
I was channeling his energy. Oh Lord, call now.
Jesus. It's turning into a karaoke session.
Is that what this is?
Is he calling in?
Karaoke with 30-something.
Okay.
So we're getting on the line.
We're getting William on the main line.
He's with Down Home Brewing.
Mm-hmm. Down Home Brewing Company
in Atlanta, Georgia.
You know, when people say the main line, I was like, Jesus is song.
You just feeling in a sing-songy mood.
That's Whitney Hutton.
Where's Whitney Hutton? That's the India I read today. I am not my head. Okay. He says he's trying to call right now.
1379.
So, whatever.
Okay. All right. So we got William. Hey, Will. Wham.
Hey.
How are you?
Everybody. Trying to make sure y'all can see me okay.
Okay. I can see your computer screen.
You gotta flip it back around. You were
you need to flip it. There you go. Hey, face.
My Gucci? I'm
yes, good. Yeah, hey.
Hey
how that
everybody.
melanin popping. Yeah. How you doing?
I got my vanity light on right now, so it's giving me that glow in the back. You know, luminescent and everything.
Yes, hey, yes, for sure.
Hey, William, how are you?
Doing good. Thank y'all so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
For sure. So, I know you, and most of our fans know you because they went to school with us. And I see you sipping on your down home brew. Which one is that?
That is a cool logo.
This is the IPA right here. This is the Georgia Hooch IPA. Malty, hoppy, really good. Has some essence of citrus and some pine in it. And this is our mascot here, Herschel. He's there doing what is called here in Georgia shooting the hooch, which is basically you get on a tire and you just float down the Chattahoochee River, hence the name of our IPA here, Georgia Hooch.
Right. I like that. Well, like I said, I know you, but can you introduce yourself to everybody and kind of give them like a little bit of a background of who you are and, you know, you're a Dallas native and, you know, what happened after that?
Most definitely, yeah. So, hello, world. My name is William Allen Moore, born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Went to Oak Cliff,
Texas.
Went to Townview High School, Talented Gifted Magnet School, where I met all of these wonderful, beautiful people. And it's just great to see all of this coming full circle with us coming from knowing each other from high school all the way to where we are now. Sure. I left Dallas back in 2002. It ended up leaving and heading out to here, where I stay now, Atlanta, Georgia. Came out here for school to Morehouse School of Medicine. Finished up my undergraduate in psychology, and then did my master's in public health, and started doing some contract work for the federal government with the company. But then on my side gig and during my time living here in Atlanta, I discovered something called craft beer. For those who are unfamiliar with beer versus craft beer is more of the beer that you will find that has a little bit more flavor to it. So a little bit more notes and different tastes, etc. It's going to be a little bit different from your normal, regular beer that, our dads and granddads and grandmothers probably drank, the Bud Light and all that stuff. It's actually going to be a little bit more flavorful. So when I discovered it, it was almost like an epiphany. I was like, damn, I really want to just get right into something like this. And so I ended up following beer and becoming really a student of beer and everything around it, having my own favorites of what I loved, eventually getting into the game of home brewing. And when I got into home brewing, that's where I ended up meeting my current partner and my right-hand man, Chris, where he showed me how to home brew. And then we went from home brew to him bringing me on as chief of operations for Down Home Brewing. So that's a really quick snapshot of the matriculation going from, Dallas to here in Atlanta and pretty much getting into this great world of craft beer.
Awesome. So I wanted to actually touch on this because we have a segment called 30 and Broke, right? And so we're going to talk about hopefully funding your dream. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to kind of just touch on the fact that you still have a day job, right? And a lot of people don't think that you can get into accomplishing your goals and building, an empire or building a huge company or whatever it is that you want to do while you're holding down a day job. Yeah. And if you could kind of touch on, I guess like maybe the struggles of that or like what it took for you to kind of bring some balance between the two.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, the hustle is real and the dream is sold separately. I'm a firm believer in that, man. I mean, you find yourself being in situations to where you have to be able to focus really on what truly your passion is, but then at the same time being realistic. And so to go back to your point, with me, what it was is that I really wanted to, still be able to focus on one of my passions, which is public health and doing the federal contract work that I currently do, which I love, and it pays the bills. But then the other passion, my other baby, being the beer gang, that was something that I like to see it as kind of like a plant. You plant the seed and you nurture it and you grow it and you tend to it. But you have other fields and other things that you've planted around that you need to nurture to as well. But you never forget, your passion. And so to realistically sit back and realize that I got to pay Navient Solution and Sallie Mae, I got to pay my rent, my bills and everything like that. I definitely have to hustle and work this 9-to-5 job. But at the same time, doing things like, being able to meet up with people, network with people in the evening, constantly talking with folks and making sure that, we're keeping like the beer exposure there. That has to be done nights and weekends. And so, but to kind of go back and by no means complaining, if something that you work on is truly a passion of yours, then it never feels like a job. And I never feel like any time where I go out and I actually promote the beer or talk about the beer, I never feel like it's something that's just too much of a,
obligation, stress.
Exactly. That I actually feel like, this is something that.
She said, is it because you're drinking a beer?
Yeah.
It helps.
While I was watching y'all's podcast, I was having a little something to sip on, and I may have drank it too fast. But yeah, I'm feeling
No,
good.
you're good. You're good.
When did you all start the Down Home Brewing Company?
So officially around 2010 is when Chris actually started home brewing. I came on around 2012, 2 years. However, we've been officially on the market. And when I say on the market, meaning we're distributed throughout Georgia. And what I mean by distributed, meaning you can actually go into a liquor store or into a restaurant and purchase it. We've done that officially since October of 2017. October 13th of this year is going to make a year that we've actually been.
Congratulations.
And so you have 100. How many locations can they find you in Atlanta? Well, in Georgia?
Oh, in Georgia, over 140 locations now. We've hit major distributors like Tower and Total Wine and Whole Foods out here. And then we're even in smaller package stores, but we've hit some venues like a lot of restaurants. We've hit the Intercontinental Hotel in Buckhead, which is a little north of Atlanta here. We've hit Verizon Amphitheater and the VIP out there. We've gotten into a lot of different places and a lot of locations now where we started off as just having draft, and we got into these, again, wonderful cans that we have here, all the way to now where we're located in, stores and in restaurants, all alike throughout the entire state of Georgia. Over 140 locations.
That's so dope. And so we kind of we talked earlier and kind of touched on expansion outside of Georgia state lines and what that looks like and you kind of brought up the laws that have to do with alcohol and how some of them are really antiquated per state, and how it's has some difficulty with trying to get past those state lines. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, definitely, because like a lot of times what you see is you do have a lot of things, especially with beer, that beer is still very, very much so local. It's very much so where you are, in a very local setting to where any and everything that you're doing is really influenced around your, current, location. So for example, with where we are located here in Georgia and where we brew out of Decatur, a lot of our grains, our hops, our yeast, our ingredients that we have for the beer is really actually pulled from different, locations or local places in and around Georgia. However, when it gets to distribution, a lot of times something like a beer, which is beer being food, you tend to have it very local in the sense to where it gets around maybe in a very in certain regions and everything. And so the reason is because a lot of times you have different laws that exist in some states, not all, that again are pretty much grandfathered in from the 1920s since Prohibition has been around, to where some states have it where you can't brew over a certain percentage of alcohol volume. And so one state may have it where it's like, if you brew over 5%, you can't, you can't make or even sell your beer here. This IPA that I'm drinking here is 6.8%. So I can't go over to the state that has it, at 5% and be able to, easily get the beer out over there. So it's a lot of these laws that still make beer very local. Some contingent on their distributor that they've linked up with have been able to get out of the state and across the country. You got your big giants like your Goose Islands and your Sweetwater and Sierra Nevadas, etc., that's been able to get a huge distribution push behind them and get them out there. But for us local guys and some of us smaller fish like, myself and others, we tend to start local and stay local because that's as far as the reach is that we can kind of go so far. But again, just to be, a little ambitious, we're definitely looking that once we get that exposure and we get people to see about the beer and what we have and utilizing platforms like you all have offered us tonight, we're able to definitely get it out there and hopefully make this thing go nationwide and even global.
Yes, that's what we're about.
Yes.
Let's do that.
And can you explain contract brewing real quick?
Thank you very much for that question. Yes. So, and I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of times people hear about it, they see it, and they're like, I want to come visit your brewery. And I'm like, we don't have a brewery yet. But basically what we're doing is called contract brewing. We contract brew out of Decatur. We actually use another facility that has all the equipment to make the beer. We make our beer at that location and provide funding to that person, to make sure that we can, get on and get our product out there. So let's say, I'll use an example, or to make a quick analogy, let's say 30-something has a kitchen, right? And William Moore has some cookies that I want to bake. William Moore doesn't have a kitchen, but I got all the ingredients to bake my cookies. So what I'll do is I'll pay 30-something podcast to say, hey guys, let me come through, use your kitchen to make my cookies. I use your kitchen, make the cookies, make my product, and then take it from there, and I distribute it and I sell it, and then I pay you for the time that I use in order to make my product. Basically, that's what we do with the beer. We go to a facility, we use their time, their equipment, we pay them for their equipment and their time, and then we use that in order to get everything out on the market.
And you still own all the rights and everything.
Yeah, correct. That is correct. Yeah.
That's so
now,
awesome.
what we do have the goal to do is eventually, since we've been out in a year, we want to maybe take our time. So in the next year, another year or two, we are looking for locations to set up both another place where we can, easily brew the beer and also have our own tap room as well. So we are slowly but surely getting to that. But this contract brewing, what it helps us do is to kind of, crawl before we walk or run. And like the video that you all just saw, it basically helps to explain to where now, because we have new laws in the state of Georgia that allows you to sell beer, we take advantage of those laws so that we can actually, as a smaller entity, be able to sell and get our beer out there, since now the laws have changed and allows for you to sell beer at the location where you also make it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
That's really cool.
And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about on 30 and Broke, because a lot of people don't even realize that, like what you said, you can use the facility and you can share your resources. Like, that's a great way to be able to get your business off the ground, to share those resources with someone who may be in the industry or a similar industry as you. Y'all laughing at my baby. What is he doing?
He can't see you.
He's trying to see you, girl. Shay's son is here. He's trying to see his mama.
Are you one of the only, or how many other African American owned brewing companies are there in the United States that you are aware of, or is that something that you keep track of?
That's a good question. I think there are maybe 5 or 6 that I kind of know of. Everything is Googleable now, or you can Google pretty much everything now. But I do know that off rip, there are a few. There's some brothers out in Louisiana. There's definitely some folks in Pennsylvania. I want to say a group out in North Carolina. think some people in Florida and maybe some folks out in New York as well. But there's definitely some other craft beer breweries that are Black owned and operated, or even people of color that do exist out there. And I'm sorry, I don't know them off the top of my head, but there are others that do exist. But then even more importantly, there are some, individuals who are in beer, but that just happen to, maybe are significant individuals like brewmasters or people who are helping to make recipes and call the shots that actually work at, breweries. So we're around and we're out there, and you will start to see, especially as our world gets smaller and as social media and et cetera tends to connect us more, that there's going to be a lot more exposure and a lot more, people of color that start to come into this craft beer game.
That's awesome. And can you give everyone your website, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things?
Yes.
Because you
so
can order
on this
like,
nice little can here, which is pretty awesome, I'm going to hold it close to my camera. You can see we have all of our social media here. And so we are on Facebook, Instagram, and and Twitter at Down Home Brewing, right? And then on a website is downhomebrewingcompany.com. Don't forget the company. So downhomebrewingcompany.com. I want to encourage people to go out, check us out. If you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're on, Instagram, shoot us a little message. Show us some love. If you ever plan on making a trip out to Atlanta, I know a majority of African Americans tend to make their pilgrimage sometimes to Atlanta, which is a must. I want to say for people, you got to come to the Mecca that is Atlanta. And so if you're ever here or in Georgia, please hit us up. Let us know you're following through. We'll give you a list of retailers where you can purchase the beer. Nice. And heck, if you're out and about and available, I myself personally would be more than happy to meet you up and let you try some of our Georgia Hooch that we have, and then our other beer that we have on the market, our Pomegranate Ale as well.
That sounds good.
Yes, thank you. We really appreciate you coming on tonight.
When are you guys coming to Atlanta? When are y'all making your way out here?
All I need is half a reason.
So tell us what's the spot in Atlanta that you would say is like one of the local spots to go and like enjoy your beer? What place would you tell us to go to?
Oh man, several. Definitely shout out to Match. Match is a location located in Castleberry Hill, not too far from the new dome that they built out here in Atlanta. They definitely carry us there. This spot, S&N carries us, and they're the one who actually put us on to do the video that you guys saw. We are also at Sprig. We are all around East Atlanta in different places like Basement and Graveyard Tavern and Soba, where they sell some
a long list. It's supposed to be one.
So
I know, my bad. I'm sorry. I wanted to kind of spread the love. But if y'all go to the website, go to downhomebrewingcompany.com, go to retailers, you'll see a list of all the places. And for those of you that are coming into our city for Super Bowl 2019, please make sure that you look out for Down Home and check us out. Oh, can I make one last plug? I know I'm running against time, but I got one last on October 13th, if anyone happens to be in the city, just make sure that you definitely come check us out. We're having our 1-year anniversary at this dope location called City Winery. We're going to have some beer, barbecue, and everything going out through the day. And we're going to be celebrating our 1-year anniversary and handing out some commemorative 1-year anniversary Down Home cups for folks who come in and partake with us.
Oh, that's cool. Can you do one thing for me? Because I'm going to start making commercials for everybody. If you could just say, I'm William Moore with Down Home Brewing Company, and I watch 30-something podcasts.
Okay.
Scoot back so we can have you on the camera. Okay.
Hello, world. My name is William Allen Moore, Chief of Operations with Down Home Brewing, and you are watching 30-something Podcasts.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll drive down to Atlanta and pack the trunk full of beer and drive it back.
Okay. Yes.
Hey, and I'm always home too. I was just home Labor Day weekend. I'll be back home probably around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I'm usually there for weeks at a time. So let's definitely link up in Deep Ellum or something and get it in. Okay, guys.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
See you later.
Bye.
Miss you guys. See y'all.
Bye.
All right, take care.
Oh, that.
All right.
I'm so inspired. Like I feel like all of our guests like that we have, they leave me so inspired to like do more, want more, something different.
Be bigger.
And it's like it is obtainable because
It
they're
is.
doing it.
Yeah.
I
Right
can
now.
do it.
And we need to see that because a lot of times you see celebrities, but you don't see your local people in your
Right.
hood. Like we from the
where you're
same
from.
hood, we went to the
Right.
same school.
Yes.
I'm doing this, you can do it too.
Right.
So I love that.
Oh, and since
Hello.
we're back,
Welcome, Lex.
I just magically appeared in this
Yes.
thing. I was like, beer? Yes, here I am. Y'all can't virtually grab it through the screen, but hey, how y'all
Lex.
doing?
We're gonna talk a little bit more about with Lex in a minute, but we have to get into 30 something and broke.
30 and
30 and
broke.
broke.
30 something and broke. 30 and broke.
30 broken something.
Okay,
30
you know
broken
the
something.
purpose of 30 and broke. We do not want you to be in your 30s out here broke, okay? So today we're talking about funding your dream with your 9 to 5. So shout out to Lisa. Everybody say, hey, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
She thought this would be a good topic to speak on, and I agree. It's a real good topic that I can relate to, and I'm pretty sure plenty of other people can too. So a lot of times people have that question like Will was talking about, like, how do I fund or how do I start my own business while I'm working my 9 to 5? So there are a few ways that you can do that, and I was so excited to hear what Will was doing because those are some of the things that were on my list. So I'm like, yes, and you can see somebody doing that. So how many people receive bonus checks? Like, do people still do bonus checks?
We can elect to get a bonus check or get time off. So
Really?
Who
Bonus
wants
check
time
and time?
off?
I
That
do,
is
girl.
nice.
I earn and burn.
I need my time off.
You need your so you choose time off?
I choose time off.
I like in my job though. I'm up to my ears in time. Like I have so much time. I end up losing it every month.
Oh, that's
So
for you.
well,
Okay.
not by choice, more by force, but for sure, yeah.
So basically, if you receive an annual bonus, a Christmas bonus, you can use that as like your startup money to purchase like your inventory if you have a business that requires that. Or if you don't have a business that requires inventory, you can use that extra money instead of going shopping or spending it on anything else to invest in your business. So find out, how can I utilize this? So, if you know that you're receiving that annual bonus every year, make plans to do something and to invest it in your business.
So with your business that you have, like,
yes.
can you just like ballpark, like kind of like what your startup cost would, and tell them what
Yeah.
you do. And
So
she does so much.
So I'm like a serial entrepreneur. So I have an HR consulting and staffing firm called KRS Talent that I have with 2 other partners. Shout out to KRS. Hey. And then I have my own business. Well, I just made Vinny my business partner legally, which is interesting. But I have my own business with Vinny, my son, 6 years old. And that's Shane McNuckles Tax Preparation. And then lastly, I have my real estate business. So where I invest in real estate, have properties and lease them out, and Airbnb some of them too. So that's kind of what I do. So my mom's like, girl, you the jack of everything. But when I was working my 9 to 5, I wanted to start a business that had low overhead costs. So that's how KRS came about. Low overhead costs meaning I could do it from my home. So we're a staffing firm. So basically we just make calls to our friends to see, hey, what does your company, who does your company use for recruiting? How can we get on the list? So that's how we started. Low overhead costs, and we just went to GoDaddy and got like a website and some professional email addresses, which the first year, so I found this on Ebates. They had a $12 for the first year where you could get your website and
this
your
is
email
after you
addresses.
did all the registration with Secretary of State office and all that kind of stuff.
Yes. So with the Secretary of State, they do have, like, if you you want to do your LLC, we went through LegalZoom, but there are other options you can do as well. Like they have Law Depot, they have Rocket Lawyer, and those are some free programs that you can use to like do your operating agreement, your articles of incorporation, and things like that. And it's very easy. And so all you would have to do is just pay the $300 for your registration fee with the Secretary of State. So that's like $300 to get your LLC. Go on Law Depot to get the documents to submit to file that.
So does the program tell you all the documents that you need, or is it some information that you have to already be
privy to? So it will tell you. So on, I know, for instance, Law Depot, they have questions that they'll ask you, and then it'll tell you, okay, this is what's required in this package. So your certificate of formation, your articles of incorporation, and your operating agreement. So all of that is on Law Depot for free. They'll give you a free 1-week trial. So you have to go in and just say yes or no. Will you have partners? Yes, no. How many? Will you have starting capital? Yes or no? And then
once it's very user friendly.
Very user friendly. And then if you're not ready, you can just save that document, save all 3 of those documents until you get your $300, cancel that free trial, and then when you get your $300, you know, from your paycheck, your commission, or whatever, go to the Secretary of State and file them, or mail it in and file it. Okay. So that's one way. So you use your bonus check. And then I know some people make commission too. So hourly plus commission. Think of ways how you can live off your hourly income or your salaried income and invest your commission income. And then other ways, purchase address space, so like, or a P.O. box. So they have many co-working options available to where you can have a professional feel and a professional look. If you're making business cards or on your website and you want to have a professional looking address, then, you know, you can invest in one of those co-working spaces, and they're like maybe $40 a month. And P.O. boxes, you can have a real address as well. And I think it's like $100
those virtual
a year.
Offices.
So that's another way. And then what Will mentioned, so here recently I just opened a tax office, and how I was able to do that was like with some black girl magic. I found a girl, Nikki, she's doing the same thing that I'm doing. You know, we both have a tax office, and we were like, how can we pull our resources together so that I can help you grow and you can help me grow? And so we were like, okay, let's just do this thing together. Now, a lot of times people are like, how are you going to do a tax office with somebody else? Well, how many companies you know partner with other companies, and then once they've built up, for instance, Alcon Novartis, they separate. They sever the partnership, and now Alcon has its own national name, and Novartis has its own national name. And so that's a good way, like, use your resources.
Pulling your resources with someone else can help you build until you're able to do it
on your own.
And I think a lot of times we don't necessarily look to each other to help build dreams. And it's like I get so irritated with people who have found the recipe, right? Like they have I don't know, like they open they're a good makeup artist, and they understand how to network and how to do these things, and they know somebody else that's a good makeup artist, but they'll be like so threatened or envious
in
or
competition,
or feel like they're competition. And it's like it's money out here for everybody. Everybody can eat,
even if you're in the same industry.
Right. And I heard it was like on Facebook or something a while ago, saying that, you know, we're really the only ones when we're small-minded like this that have that mentality, because for years you saw, you know, a CVS open up on one corner
and a Walgreens
open up on the other corner. Everybody's getting money.
Right. Exactly.
So gas stations on 4 corners.
Yeah,
I've seen gas stations on 4 corners. Everybody making money.
Yeah, everybody can get. But if we work together, we would be
like, I don't understand why we don't have
independent
black nail shops. Like, why can't I walk into a nail shop and the owner be black, all the nail techs be black, and that be, I mean, it's not like we don't have the talent. It's not like we don't, you know, have the resources to do it.
Yeah, and we have to think collectively, because how many times do you walk into Target and see Starbucks?
Right.
How many times do you walk into Kroger and see First Convenience?
Right.
That
it doesn't even have to be the same business.
Exactly.
You can still work together.
So, and you can share space.
That leads us right on into why we have Lex here. Just things.
Okay. Working.
Yeah, so we have Lex here tonight. Lex is
hello.
Yes. Lex has a show right after ours. It's called Hip Hop Across the Board.
Yep, Hip Hop Across the Board. You can catch us on Facebook Live on our Facebook page at Hip Hop Across the Board, and then on YouTube as well. Yeah.
Yep, and it comes right on after us, and it's kind of a different type of vibe because they're talking more about the hip hop scene. So tell us what you all discussing.
Raw, uncut hip hop. You know, we do it for the culture, especially the culture here in Dallas. You know, bringing attention to local artists and trying to give them a platform where they can share their music and speak. And then we also talk about mainstream hip hop as well.
Yeah, and you also. So she doesn't just do hip hop across the board. She does everything. Yeah. But she has a website.
Yes, I got a website. It's sowellgroomed.com. That's my blog, and I blog about my life as a mother and as an artist, and just my experiences. And you know,
what kind of artist?
I've done music before. Okay. I do hair. I do makeup. I do imaging. I take pictures. I mean,
so
you know,
a true artist.
I am hustle woman.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Anything you need, you call my phone. You know?
Yeah, and when I was like getting out of Skyline, like 2002, 2003, you were like caught on the like wrestling. I know I was getting mixtapes, and you were on them, and you were killing it.
You know.
And I didn't really get to see you know what you did after that. But I know back then I used to be listening to the CDs, and I'd be like, Lex be doing that thing in the booth.
I mean, music is a great experience, and I think just growing up as an artist, my dad was an artist, so just kind of being around it a lot, you just kind of develop a taste for different things and different mediums and different forms of expression. And so I just try to live freely from a free space, and that's what everything is.
That's what pours out from you.
And I love like the whole cross-pollination thing. It's like we kind of share the same demographic of audience, and you know, it would bring some exposure to you and bring some exposure.
Yeah, we can start having a whole lineup. We can do 30-something podcasts and then hip hop across the board.
Right?
Y'all don't have anything to watch on TV anymore.
Yeah, have that little blend period.
Right.
We can just blend it on in with a whole little session.
Who else is on the show with you? On
Slim Johnson is my co-host, or I'm his co-host rather. Let's just say he's mine. Okay? But that's who I co-host with, and then we have guest hosts that come on tonight. We're supposed to be having DJ Paparon come on and guest host with us. We'll have Cash Girls on tonight, and we have another artist. I'm not really sure because it was kind of a last minute thing. But I think we're gonna have a little party in here tonight. It's gonna be popping, so y'all can stick around if you like.
How long have you all been doing this? Because you're in like your second season or something.
We're in our second season, but we haven't even done it for a year yet. So we should be having our year anniversary coming up soon.
Nice.
And I don't know what we're gonna do to celebrate, but yeah,
So
it's been really cool. We've been getting a good reaction.
We out here podcasting tough. Like podcasting is, man, people think like this is just, I mean, it is fun. Don't get me wrong.
Fun.
Like it really is fun. And I'm good once I get here, right? Because the energy's flowing and everything is great. Like I feel like I'm in my space. You know what I'm saying? But boy, like coming after 5 o'clock, getting up at 5 o'clock, like it's tough. I drag myself in here, and then like just trying to put together content, making sure we got good information for you guys. And Miko, she was burning out for a minute. I was like, baby, wait, come back.
Jesus, we gotta do another week. Don't y'all want to take a break?
Right? But
it's work.
But it's good that I have you all
It's
around me,
a
which
second
is one of the reasons why I felt like it was a good thing. A lot of people that I was talking to about podcasts, and they would say, you know, I want to do it by myself because I don't want to have to deal with other people's opinions. I want to be able to do my own content.
Yeah.
But then with me just starting to try to get into this, I think that it's better as a group because we help each other out.
Yeah, it is
like
good.
we all have lives and other things going on, and sometimes I can't be here, and sometimes Shay can't be here, but the show goes on, you know, and we still have that camaraderie, and it's like
it is y'all.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing.
We do it for y'all.
And speaking of podcasts, I just want to say shout out to Marvin Banks, my friend. He has a podcast. he's just starting called Man Listen. So y'all tune in to him, like him on Facebook. Marvin, if you're watching, drop your comment on Facebook, Man Listen Podcast.
Yeah, tag your podcast.
Yeah.
So we need to support each other. And
We
like I
too.
said,
Yeah.
the cross-pollination effort is something that we need to do more of in all aspects of our life. Like, we definitely need to just try to join hands more when it comes to a lot of things. When it comes to even sewing into each other's dreams, I saw somebody make a post about everybody can crowdfund when it comes down to somebody dying and paying for funeral expenses, but nobody wants to sew into anybody's dream.
Right.
Me personally, I'm not sending no money to nobody's funeral. It was
need to help these
it was
people
upon
live.
you.
Right.
It was upon you to get you some life insurance to take care of yourself.
She was talking not shaming people, and then she turned right around.
I said I tried. I'm still human.
I know
and I'm
that.
petty. I'm real petty. And everybody knows that about me. But I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'm just not paying for your funeral.
Right.
You got to be alive to get the shirt off.
Right.
But we do have to start supporting each other. And I know I had a business owner call me, and she's just starting, and she was like, I felt so sad because I saw someone purchase a service from someone else, and they're my friend. And I'm like, oh, girl, that's just how it is.
That's
like, you
gonna
can't
happen.
take it personal, but it would be nice if we could. But we do have to get to a point where we think of our friends first when it comes to the services that they offer,
Right.
so that we can use them and
I
put money in
definitely,
their pocket.
even if it's just like plugging people, like I love when you see people on Facebook and they're like, hey, I'm looking for somebody that does that. I'm the first person that's like, who do I know? Who do I know? Who do I know? And I'm tagging people on
Girl,
Facebook.
you know everybody, right?
I listen, I live my life by trying to develop connection with people. As many hands as I can shake, it makes my life that much easier where I don't have to go and dig too far, because when you ain't got the cash, if you got the connect, it's just as good.
It's
so
true.
cash is
That's why her
better than
name was
connect.
the plug when we first.
It's better than connects are better than cash.
Yeah, they
Connects
sure
are
can be.
definitely better than cash.
Nice flyer.
Oh yes, so we're gonna put up the flyer. We have a flyer for you guys. Hold on a second. Let me
Of course,
put it-
Sheena, I got you. So,
Yeah,
And we're
in my
gonna
inbox-
share the hip. Oh, I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
No,
I
I
didn't
was
know
just
you were
responding
talking
to
to her.
Sheena.
So, are you showing it? Okay, so we have the flyer up. It's called the Youth Walking for Youth. It's going to be Saturday, October 27th at 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Keys Park. And so the purpose of this walk is for us to have the youth walk for the other youth who are less fortunate than they are not able to walk. And it's going to help them with food, clothing, school supplies, and other supports to make their life a little bit more comfortable. And so children that are under the age of 17, they're going to charge you $10 for registration. And over 18, they're going to charge you $15 for registration. It does give you a t-shirt and like that, and they'll give you water, and they're going to have a lot of sponsors out there. But that
Nice.
money is going to help children that are less fortunate. So if we can have everybody out there to participate.
Less fortunate local. Oh,
Yes,
that's
yes,
good.
it is definitely local.
And then I think,
you know, do that.
and then I think on the 29th, there is going to be Botham Jean's birthday, and they're having like a celebration. I will post
Okay.
it on the page, but I think if anybody's
And I'll
free,
try to get us a table
cool.
at this event so we can be out there, because I feel like we promote some stuff, but we definitely need to be present as well. And we're working on getting us a spot out at the State Fair, so we'll keep y'all tuned
so
to
y'all
that.
can come visit us.
So y'all
live
can
at the
come and
fair
visit us out at the State Fair.
and get on 30 something podcast.
Yes,
it's cool.
let us take your picture. We're working on a project, Miko said.
Yeah.
If you want to advertise with us, send us an inbox DM. Let us know.
Yes, if you do have a business that you want plugged, like we have the cheapest,
we do.
the cheapest rates when it comes to
$20.
promoting
And we're going to
business.
show major love.
Right, right. So just make sure you keep us in mind, and we'll definitely keep you guys in mind. And thank y'all for watching.
See you
us.
next week.
See y'all next week.
Tuesday,
Bye.
8 p.m.
I'll see you in a minute. Go to my channel.
All right.
Lexi, say right here.